Welcome to Relation Tales. Please like this video and subscribe Relation Tales that we're grateful for each and every one of you. Let us know where in the world you're tuning in from. We'd love to hear from you in the comments, but let's begin. I used to believe in love. I used to believe in trust, in loyalty, in the unspoken promises that bound two people together through thick and thin. I thought my marriage was solid. Not perfect because what marriage is, but built on the kind of foundation that could weather any storm. I was a fool. It happened on a Friday evening. The kind of night that should have been ordinary, just another chapter in the routine of my life. I had just finished a grueling day at work, exhausted but eager to come home to my wife, Serena. I envisioned the usual things, maybe dinner together, maybe a glass of wine while watching a movie, maybe intimacy. But the moment I stepped inside, I felt something was off. Serena was sitting on the couch, legs crossed, a glass of red wine delicately balanced in her hand. She looked up at me with an expression I couldn't quite place. Not anger, not sadness, but something worse. It was calculated. I hesitated for a second before greeting her. "Hey," I said, loosening my tie. "What's up?" She didn't respond right away. Instead, she took a slow sip of wine, staring at me as if she was studying my reaction before she even spoke. Then, with the kind of ease that made my stomach turn, she patted the cushion beside her. "Sit down, Logan. We need to talk." Those words alone sent a ripple of unease through me. I sat. She turned her body toward me, her eyes gleaming in a way I had never seen before. Then, she said it, the sentence that detonated my entire world. "I want to spend the weekend with another man." I blinked. My mind blanked out for a second, as if it couldn't process what I had just heard. "What?" She tilted her head slightly, as if she had rehearsed this moment and was patiently waiting for me to catch up. "I need something new," she continued, swirling her wine in her glass, as if this were a casual conversation about dinner plans. "I need to feel something different, something exciting." I let out a dry, hollow chuckle. "You're joking." "I'm not," she said simply. Silence stretched between us, thick and suffocating. I could hear the blood pounding in my ears. "You expect me to just accept this?" My voice was barely above a whisper, my throat tight. She sighed, like I was the one being unreasonable. "Logan, I love you, but I don't want to live my life with regrets. I don't want to wake up 10 years from now wondering what I missed. It's just one weekend. No strings attached. Then we move on." Her words cut deeper than I thought possible. She didn't even look guilty. She didn't look conflicted. She looked free, like saying it out loud had lifted some invisible weight off her shoulders. My hands curled into fists. I wanted to scream. I wanted to demand an explanation, to remind her of the vows we took, the life we built together. But the words wouldn't come. I just stared at her, my heart pounding in my chest. "I know this is a lot to take in," she said, reaching for my hand. I jerked away from her touch like it burned. A flicker of irritation crossed her face, but she quickly masked it with a sigh. "Logan, this doesn't have to change anything between us," she tried. I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. "You really think that?" She didn't answer. Instead, she finished her wine, set the glass down, and stood up. "I already made plans," she said casually. "I'll be leaving tomorrow morning." That was it. No apology. No hesitation. Just a statement of fact. I watched as she walked upstairs, disappearing into the darkness of the hallway. And I sat there, alone, in the deafening silence of my own home. But as the hours passed, as the initial shock gave way to something colder, sharper, I realized something. I was done being the invisible, dependable husband she took for granted. She wanted a weekend to explore new experiences? Fine. By the time she came back, she wouldn't recognize the life she had so carelessly thrown away. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Serena's voice echo in my head. "I need something new. It's just one weekend. No strings attached." She had said it so effortlessly, as if the last 7 years of our marriage were nothing more than a temporary arrangement. As if the life we built together was just a phase she was ready to move on from. The worst part, it wasn't just that she wanted to be with another man. It was that she expected me to accept it. She had no doubt in her mind that I would sit at home, waiting like a loyal, obedient fool while she went out and explored something new. She thought she had all the power in this situation. She thought she controlled the narrative. She thought wrong. By the time the sun rose, something inside me had shifted. I wasn't just heartbroken anymore. I was furious. Serena had made her choice. Now, it was time for me to make mine. The morning felt surreal. Serena acted as if nothing had changed. She hummed softly while making coffee, scrolling through her phone like it was just another Saturday morning. Then, as if she was heading off on a business trip instead of betraying our marriage, she casually grabbed her suitcase and walked up to me. She pressed a kiss against my cheek, as if I was supposed to accept it. "You'll see," she said lightly. "This will be good for both of us." I didn't respond. I just stood there, staring at her, burning every single detail of this moment into my mind. The way she didn't even look back as she walked toward the door. The way her suitcase wheels rolled smoothly down the driveway. The way she climbed into the Uber without hesitation. She truly believed she had won. She had no idea what was coming. The moment she was gone, I picked up my phone and started making calls. First call, a moving company. "I need you to clear out the entire master bedroom today." Second call, a locksmith. "I need all the locks changed on my house now." By noon, my home had transformed into something new. Every single piece of Serena's belongings, gone. Every trace of her perfume, erased. Every reminder of our life together, destroyed. The master bedroom, the same place she had slept beside me for years, was now completely empty. Cold, hollow, just like the way she had made me feel. But I wasn't done yet. I had never been the type to seek out revenge. I had always been the rational one, the forgiving one, the stable, dependable husband Serena thought she could walk all over. But that version of me, he was dead. I poured myself a drink, sat down on the couch, and opened my phone. I had never used a dating app before. But today, I wasn't looking for love. I was looking for something new. It didn't take long before I matched with her. Victoria. Long, dark hair. Piercing green eyes. A smirk that radiated confidence and danger. A woman who didn't play by the rules. We exchanged a few messages. Within the hour, she was on her way to my house. As I heard the knock on the door, I smirked. Serena thought she controlled this game. She had no idea I had just rewritten the rules. Victoria was different. She wasn't shy. She didn't hesitate. The moment she stepped inside, she took one long look at me, then at the half-empty house, and smirked. "Rough week," she teased. I chuckled darkly. "You could say that." She stepped closer, her green eyes gleaming with curiosity. "Tell me something, Logan. A man like you, why is he suddenly single?" I leaned against the counter, watching her. "Who said I was single?" She raised an eyebrow. "Oh." I took a slow sip of my drink. "My wife left for the weekend to try something new," I said. I figured I'd do the same. For a split second, I expected her to judge me, to call me petty or bitter. Instead, she let out a low chuckle and leaned in closer. "I like that," she murmured. "A man who knows how to take control." Control. That was the word. For the first time since Serena dropped that bombshell on me, I actually felt in control. Not just reacting, not just drowning in her choices, but making my own. And I wasn't done yet. By Sunday evening, the house no longer felt like a place of betrayal. It felt like a declaration of war. Every single trace of Serena was gone. Her clothes? Gone. Her wedding photos? Replaced. Her favorite couch pillow? Burned. This was no longer her home. Victoria had stayed the entire weekend. Not because I needed her to. Not because I was lonely. But because I wanted her there. Because I deserved to have someone by my side who actually wanted me. Not just the stability I provided. Then, at exactly 6:07 p.m., my phone buzzed. Serena. I let it ring. Then again. And again. Until finally, I answered, letting the silence stretch just a little too long before I spoke. Already. She hesitated. I just got home. The front door, why isn't my key working? I smirked. That's strange, I said, swirling my whiskey in my glass. Maybe because it's not your home anymore. Silence. Then, in a shaky voice, Logan, what do you mean? I took a slow breath, savoring the moment. I mean, you made your choice, I said. Now I've made mine. Her breath hitched. You're being ridiculous, she stammered. It was just a weekend. It didn't mean anything. I chuckled darkly. And yet you expected me to sit here and wait for you like some obedient little husband. I leaned back, glancing at Victoria, who was watching me with an amused expression. Sorry, Serena, I murmured. I had other plans. The next sound I heard was a frantic rattling at the door. "Open the damn door, Logan." I took my time, letting her panic build. Then, finally, I opened it, and the look on her face, absolutely priceless. The second I opened the door, I saw her face change. Serena's confident smirk, the one she had worn so effortlessly when she walked out on Friday, was gone. Now, she looked stunned, confused, afraid. Her wide eyes darted around the house, searching for something familiar. The couch was different. The dining table was set with 2 glasses, not one. And then her gaze locked onto Victoria. Victoria, who was leaning against the staircase, wearing nothing but a silk robe. The same silk robe Serena had probably assumed would still be hers. The color drained from Serena's face. "Who the hell is she?" she demanded, her voice shaking with barely contained rage. I smirked, leaning lazily against the doorway. Something new. Serena's mouth opened, then closed. She looked between me and Victoria, her fingers tightening around the handle of her suitcase like she was desperately trying to hold on to something real. "Logan," she finally whispered. This isn't funny." I tilted my head. "Who's laughing?" Serena took a step forward, as if forcing herself into the home she no longer belonged in. I didn't move. I didn't step aside. I just watched her squirm. She swallowed hard. "Okay, I get it. You're pissed. I should have talked to you more about this before I left. But this," she motioned to Victoria with a sharp glare, "this is just childish." Victoria let out a low chuckle, crossing her arms. "Childish," she mused. "Says the woman who left her husband to explore something new for a weekend?" Serena's face flushed with anger. "I don't recall asking for your opinion," she snapped. Victoria raised an eyebrow. "And I don't recall Logan asking for yours when you decided to cheat." Serena sucked in a breath. For the first time, I saw a realization dawn in her eyes. She had miscalculated. She had assumed I would be waiting for her. Miserable, heartbroken, desperate to take her back. Instead, she had returned to a world that no longer had a place for her. Serena let out a shaky breath. "Okay, fine," she forced out. "You had your fun. You proved your point. But let's be real here, Logan. You don't actually want this." I raised an eyebrow. "Oh." She took another cautious step forward. "You're angry right now," she said, her voice softer, sweeter, manipulative. "You're lashing out. I get it. But what we have, it's real. We build a life together. You can't just replace you." I finished for her. Her lips parted slightly, and I saw a flicker of fear behind her eyes. Because that's exactly what she had tried to do. She thought she could taste someone new and come back like nothing had changed. She thought she could cheat without consequences. She thought wrong. "I mean, come on," she said, her tone shifting into condescension. "You're really telling me this is serious? That she's not just some rebound?" Victoria laughed softly from the stairs. "Oh, honey," she said, shaking her head. "This isn't about me." Serena's eyes flickered with frustration. "Then what is this about, Logan?" I took a step forward, letting the air between us grow heavy. "This is about the fact that you thought you could humiliate me," I murmured. "That you thought you could sleep with another man, and I'd just be waiting here when you got back." Serena's breath hitched. I leaned in slightly, lowering my voice. "You underestimated me, Serena." She blinked rapidly, her face pale. For the first time, she looked genuinely afraid. Not afraid of losing the marriage. Afraid of losing control. And she already had. She swallowed hard. "Logan, let's talk about this, okay?" she whispered, her voice now laced with desperation. "Please, just let me in, and we can figure this out." I shook my head slowly. "You don't live here anymore, Serena." Her face twisted with panic. But I just took a weekend. It wasn't supposed to mean anything." I let out a dark chuckle. "Then why do you look so scared?" Serena flinched. I watched as the reality hit her like a freight train. This wasn't a game. This wasn't some temporary punishment. This was permanent. "You don't just throw away a marriage like this," she choked out. I stared at her for a long moment. "Then why did you?" Tears welled up in her eyes. "I thought we were strong enough to get through this." I scoffed. "You thought we were strong enough to get through your selfishness. That's rich." She clenched her jaw. "You're really doing this?" I nodded once. "I already did." Serena stood there, suitcase still clutched in her trembling hands, her face filled with disbelief. She turned toward Victoria again, her voice trembling. "And you," she spat. What is this? Some kind of sick joke. Victoria smirked, tilting her head. Not a joke, she said smoothly. An opportunity. Serena let out a strangled, disbelieving laugh. You really think you can replace me that easily? She sneered. Victoria's smirk widened. Looks like I already did. Serena's breath caught in her throat. She looked around one last time, as if trying to find some piece of her old life to cling on to. But there was nothing left. This wasn't her home anymore, and she knew it. Finally, she whispered, I didn't think you'd actually do this. I gave her one last, steady look. That makes two of us. Then, I closed the door in her face. The second the door clicked shut, I exhaled. The weight in my chest didn't disappear. But for the first time, I felt free. Behind the door, I could still hear her ragged breathing. She stood there for a long time. Then, finally, a choke sob. She was breaking, and I let her. I poured myself another drink and turned to Victoria, who was watching me with an amused expression. That, she murmured, was satisfying to watch. I gave her a slow, wicked smile. It's not over yet. She raised an eyebrow. Oh, I lifted my glass. Serena thought she could taste a different life and come back to her old one. I took a sip, the ice clinking softly against the glass. Let's show her how wrong she was. Victoria's smirk widened. Oh, Logan, she purred. I like the way you think. I could still hear Serena's shaky breathing outside the door. She hadn't left. Not yet. She was standing there, probably staring at the house that used to be hers, trying to make sense of what just happened. She thought she could cheat, explore a different man, and return to a husband who was waiting for her. Instead, she had walked into her own personal nightmare. I let her suffer in silence. Then, I heard it, her voice broken and raw. Logan, please. I took another sip of my drink and turned to Victoria. You think she's learned her lesson yet? I asked, smirking. Victoria chuckled, swirling her wine. Oh, darling, she purred. She's only just begun to suffer. And she was right. This was just the beginning. Serena's texts started pouring in minutes after I closed the door. Serena, Logan, open the door. We need to talk. Serena, please, just let me in. Let's be adults about this. Serena, you're blowing this out of proportion. Serena, are you seriously ignoring me? Serena, I swear to God, Logan, answer me. I chuckled as I watched her desperation grow. Victoria peeked over my shoulder, laughing. She's unraveling, she mused. I nodded, and I was going to enjoy every second of it. At midnight, my phone rang. I didn't answer. Then, at 2 a.m., another call. Ignored. At 4:30 a.m., the doorbell rang, over and over. This time, I got up, not to let her in, but to look through the peephole. Serena was standing there, wrapped in her coat, her hair a mess, eyes red-rimmed from crying. I just watched. No sympathy, no pity, just cold satisfaction. She banged on the door. Logan, for the love of God, please. I let the silence stretch. Then, finally I spoke, calm, emotionless. Go home, Serena. Her voice cracked. This is my home, she sobbed. Not anymore. And then, I walked away. She stayed outside for another hour. Eventually, she left. She had no choice. She had nowhere to go. By Monday morning, I was ready to destroy what little dignity she had left. Serena had cheated on me. She thought she could walk away unscathed. But now, I was going to make sure the entire world knew what she had done. I picked up my phone and started sending texts. To her mutual friends. To her family. To her co-workers. I didn't tell them the full story. I just said, hey, just so you know, Serena asked for an open marriage this weekend. Wanted to sleep with another man. Just thought you should hear it from me before she tells her version. And then, I sat back and waited. The messages started rolling in within the hour. Her best friend. WTF? Are you serious? Her sister. I'm so sorry, Logan. I had no idea she was like this. Her boss. We need to talk. I smirked. Serena had no idea what was coming. Serena called me 12 times that day. I ignored every single one. Then, at 7 p.m., my phone buzzed with a new message. Not from Serena, but from her lover. Dude, I don't know what's going on, but I don't want any part of this. She lied to me. Told me you guys were in an open relationship. I'm out. I grinned. It was even better than I had hoped. Her something new was already throwing her away. I could only imagine how it felt. To lose everything. To watch her world collapse. And I was just getting started. That night, She showed up again. Not at my house, but at my job. She waited outside my office, looking wrecked. As soon as I walked out, she rushed up to me. "Logan," she gasped, eyes desperate. I raised an eyebrow. "You're not supposed to be here." She swallowed hard. "Can we just talk?" I sighed, pretending to consider it. Then I shook my head. "No." Her face crumpled. I turned to leave, but she grabbed my wrist. "Please," she begged. I ripped my arm away. "Serena," I said coldly, "you want a taste of something new?" I leaned in, letting my words cut deep. "Well, now you can choke on it." Her legs buckled. I walked away. And this time, she didn't follow. The next morning, she sent one final message. "Serena, you win." I stared at the screen for a moment. Then, I deleted her number. No reply. No closure. Nothing. Because she wasn't worth it. For the first time in 7 years, I felt weightless. Serena was gone. Her presence. Her lies. Her manipulations. And I was free. Victoria smirked at me over her coffee. "So," she mused, "what now?" I exhaled slowly, feeling the power in my own decisions. "Now," I smirked. "I start over." Weeks passed. Serena tried to rebuild her life, but the damage was done. Her reputation, destroyed. Her friends, gone. Her job, on the line. And me, I was living my best life. Serena had wanted to explore something new. She thought it would set her free. Instead, it had ruined her. And that was the real revenge. Because now, she would wake up every single day knowing she lost everything. And I would wake up knowing I had won.